Good morning, Gotham. This is your Reckoning speaking. Today I will be discussing the episode of Batman the Animated Series that introduces me.
Okay, that's enough of that. But seriously, today I will be talking about the Batman the Animated Series episode, Bane! So if you haven't seen the episode and you don't want to be spoiled, you should go watch it before you finish this review. Or you can listen to me sum up the plot before I get to the review itself. Those are basically your only two options. Either that or you can stop listening and not watch the episode, but I'd rather you not take that option. Rupert Thorne hires Bane to break Batman, and if you missed that, don't worry, Bane will say it another 500 times in this episode. Bane wants to watch Batman in action against Killer Croc so that he can know what kind of enemy he faces. But then Bane beats up Croc so that the pleasure of breaking the bat can be his and his alone. Batman pretty easily figures out who he's up against, and after an intense fight, he defeats Bane! Cue credits. This is an interesting episode in that, for the most part, this series was adapting villains who were introduced way back in the 1940s. Joker, Riddler, Catwoman, Two-Face, Scarecrow, they're all pretty classic villains who were pretty well known at the time that this series was getting started. Other than characters created for this series like Red Claw or Harley Quinn, the newest villain this series had used was the Ventriloquist, introduced almost 5 years before this series began. But Bane is even newer than that. He first showed up in 1993, just a year before this episode aired, when the full impact of his debut hadn't even been fully felt yet in the comics. This really isn't an important detail, but it can be potentially dangerous to bring in such a new character from the source material when that character has scarcely had time to be fully formed in the source material. Take a look at Joker. This series had the advantage of looking at 60 years of Joker stories and deciding what works with the character and what doesn't. The series even has the advantage of saying this Joker story, for example, The Laughing Fish, is so good that we can straight up adapt it into this series without changing much of anything at all. You can do that when a character has been around for so long. But with Bane, who was only around for a year before this episode aired and has only done one thing worth mentioning by this point, it's a lot harder to form a story around him because the character hasn't done much of anything to give you inspiration of what to do in your adaptation, and you can't even adapt him breaking the bat unless you want the rest of the series to be an adaptation of Nightfall, which this series would never do since it's much more episodic than that. So where does that leave us with this episode? Well, as far as Bane stories go, it's definitely a better representation of the character than the Batman and Robin movie that came out just a couple of years later, and it might just be on par with the version from The Dark Knight Rises, though I'm not sure if I'd commit to that statement or not. But the thing that nobody seems to get about Bane is that he was never a hired gun when he first appeared. He came to Gotham and broke the bat all on his own. Turning his motivation into "it pays really well to do this" weakens him in my humble. And like I said, since this series and the people behind it had no interest in following through with what made Bane so interesting in the first place, he becomes a somewhat tough mercenary. Sure, he has super strength, which is more than a lot of Batman's enemies can say, but he's less terrifying than any of them after Batman guts his venom regulator. Yeah, I think I'd say that even the Sewer King or Red Claw edge out this version of Bane, at least after he starts whining and crying about how he is invincible and keeps screaming that he is Bane. There's not much else to say about this episode. Robin is here, and at first it seems like he's going to actually do something here when he manages to hold his own against Bane, but then he ends up just being a damsel for Batman to rescue. Batman doesn't do much detective work here because the only reason he's able to figure out that Bane is behind this is because Bane was an idiot enough to reveal himself to Croc and let Croc live. You know what? I didn't feel so strongly when I was watching this episode, but I'm gonna say it. Worse than the Terrible Trio episode. And remember, that's the one that Bruce Timm says is the worst episode in the entire DC animated universe. So those are my thoughts. What did you guys think? If you agree or disagree, be sure to comment and let me know what you thought of the episode and of my review. And if you liked this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And if you did like this video, I do this sort of thing every weekend. Next weekend, I'll be talking about an episode of Batman Beyond. And the weekend after that, I'll be talking about another episode of Batman the Animated Series. And I also do other videos throughout the week, so be sure to check those out as well. In the meantime, I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Catch you later.